for the 2020-21 school year in regards to distance learning. At some point, I believe in what educators and advocates and those of us who are following the news believe is that distance learning is going to be a part of our life probably for the next couple of years. So I just always want to give out tips and information to help families navigate that, because it's just a different world that we're living in. So you can request training regarding how to implement, like we talked about, these goals that your child has and accommodations at home. You can ask for the teacher or the special education teacher to, during their office hours, give you some examples or a video. They can video themselves as the special ed teacher, how they would implement a goal or how they would address certain behaviors or support your child, so that you can have some extra training. There's just going to have to be more collaboration between schools and families. You can request more pencil and paper tasks. Some of our kids just hate being on the computer. They're okay about being on the computer for some things, but they're just not into the learning on the computer. Maybe they're more of a kinesthetic learner, where they need to touch and feel things and experience it and do it themselves. And so, use manipulatives for math or whatever it is. And so learning via Zoom virtually just is not conducive to their learning style. And there's nothing wrong with that. So maybe, and our kiddos who are more impacted, who have more challenges, maybe our kiddos who have are impacted more significantly with autism, or Down syndrome, or intellectual disability, just really aren't able to engage in learning via a computer. Nothing wrong with that. You can request more pencil and paper tasks that you can use at home at your discretion. Like it's your time that works too. Like your child, maybe that you can give them 5 minutes here, 30 minutes there, whatever works. You can spread it throughout the day. In a way that's less frustrating to you and your child, or the nanny that's watching them, or the daycare provider, whatever it may be. So asking for those, worksheets, workbooks, pencil and paper tasks is very reasonable and can very, very easily be done by IEP teams. Presenting information, like I just mentioned, in your child's learning style. Take the information that the child is being required to learn and present it to them in a way that fits them best. So other tips around distance learning, and you can also request, again, if Zoom and the video learning, remote learning is not working, you can request DVDs or videos of related services sessions. If your child, freaks out and they refuse to do a Zoom session with the SOP or the APE teacher, then that person can record videos and send you the video every week. And then you can do it with your child at another time, or from your phone or whatever. Just looking at a variety of ways to keep our children learning and keep our children growing, but in a way that fits them best. So this is something that could easily be done. A teacher can record a session, record herself giving a lesson, and send you a copy of that video. And you may or may not have heard of this term during distance learning, but you can request a written contingency plan. And so basically a contingency plan, or in other states, special education emergency contingency plan, it's typically a standalone document that's used to outline what services are going to be provided during an emergency such as what we're in now. And then it also gives a space for the team to see what's being provided and then help the team to determine if compensatory education services will be required when school reopens. In California, IEP teams are not required to complete written contingency plans. They don't, like in Texas, the contingency plan does not take the place of the IEP. There are a couple of states where they're actually sending a contingency plan, and it's actually taking the place of the IEP. It's the school district's best offer of faith during this time of school closure. However, like in Texas, it's just a document that shows what's going to be provided during distance learning. We know that we're only going to be able to provide, X, Y, Z of speech, OT, special education, and such things. And then documenting that it was provided, and then the outcome, and then that can be used to determine if CompEd services are, if your child's eligible for CompEd services. So since it's not a requirement here in California, you can still ask for that. I know here, especially in our county, school district and school teams were asked to document what they provided to children in the spring in regards to their special education services. So you could very well ask for an IEP meeting if you're having some concerns about your child and how they're performing, and you could ask that things be written in there with the caveat that, my child will do XYZ in this goal, or my child will do XYZ during times of distance learning, during the IEP in times of back to school on the campus. The IEP will continue to stand and my child will do XYZ. So you can actually document that, and you can ask that the team document that so that everyone's on the same page and there is more accountability in regards to what is offered during distance learning. You can also ask for IT training. For so many families, just the use of the technology that's required was a challenge. So you can ask for training. You can ask for a 1-hour session with the IT person for your district to help you navigate all of these different apps. And so if you do need that training around technology, you can request that as well. And of course, you can supplement the distance learning with virtual field trips, typing apps as well.